I'm so thankful for the clips, things that you wouldn't even think to know about that we should be informed about. We are, so thank you so much for that. Um, Going over the clips, Michael Jordan, I just say VGQ. I did not help him create his empire. I'm not going to tell him how to spend his fortune or whatever. I wasn't there, not going to be there. I guess he felt what he needed to do. Um, the thing with Roger Ailes, I think is important because it just continues to show how white how white lives really don't matter to white people. This is a man accused of sexual harassment. If you go back to the case not too long ago in California, where the young man who was supposed to be of some means raped the young lady and got no prison time. And we should learn from that they don't value each other. They do not value us. I don't I don't know what other examples can be shown. And then the contrast as compared to Bill Cosby, they're like, oh, Roger Ailes, he's so important. He did all these things and he just shaped the landscape. Bill Cosby also shaped the landscape for us. I don't know what he did, but I'm very grateful personally for the show A Different World. It helped me go to a black college where I felt I got a wonderful education. I don't know what else he did, but I will always be thankful for that show. Um, and the mothers of the movement, you know, I don't know what movement this is. It's maybe I've missed what the movement is supposed to be. If it's supposed to be about gun violence, why didn't they find all the white mothers of the Sandy Hook tragedy? Again, racial showcasing, racial profiling. I think some people have brought that up, and that is a strategy that is used a lot. I have an example here. I still go to school here in Memphis, and someone came to talk to our class and specifically stated on a particular issue, yes, we targeted African American women, and he went into detail about what he did. He's like, once we get the African American women, we can win the election. And if you there, I think there was also an article recently in the Washington Post saying that, said the most, how they kind of divide everyone into groups. The group that votes the most is African American women. So it was important for the Democrats to showcase, and I've never seen so many women. And to me, knowing that they're usually not in leadership positions, that is not a true depiction of America. As the Republicans showed a whole bunch of white people, and that is not the true face of America. And if I think of something else to say, I'll chime back in, but I can't remember right now. Thank you.
The first one I wanted to speak about was Brazil and the horrific brutalization of the women in that society. And it just really just makes me think as a male of Caribbean descent and knowing the patriarchy that was instated with white supremacy in these areas. That's really where the origin of all of that comes from. Even in Trinidad, I used to hear stories from a guy that my mother had dated for a number of years about some of the times when he would drink. Because sometimes, well, he had a drinking problem, so sometimes he would actually spend, and this is before he got one for my mother. But anyway, he would spend his paycheck on liquor, hanging out with the fellas after work on a Friday. And his wife would ask him about the money when he would come home so that she could take care of responsibilities or whatever. And he told one story where he just literally just blacked out on it and slapped the, slapped the, for asking him a question. And that was the way he instated his, his, I guess, that patriarchal view on her to shut her down so that she couldn't, really get to the bottom of where the money went. But she pretty much figured it out because he was drunk when he got home. But yeah, it's just very interesting how that, just the level of brutality there is really crazy. But I think in all of those areas, Caribbean, Central America, South America, it's all the same thing. It's all white supremacy. I saw an article a few days ago that talked about when they were running the Olympic torch through different areas of Brazil, that the youth of Brazil actually stole the Olympic torch and snuffed it out and threw it and discarded it like somewhere in the bushes, and they had to actually find it, relight it, and then complete running the torch, I guess, to wherever they have the giant torch set up. So I just found that very interesting as well, that they were able to intercept it in that way. The clip you played on France just reminded me of a story where my wife actually went there. She was visiting there. She went to Paris and she went to England as a foreign exchange student. And while they were in Paris, they had stopped at the the Eiffel Tower and all those other sightseeing places. And she said they go into a bathroom, and in the bathrooms you have to tip. There's women who give out like napkins for you to dry your hands in the bathroom or whatever, and they usually give them a tip. So them being 15, 16-year-old girls coming from America, they really didn't know or understand that aspect of the culture. So as they found out, some of them did give this woman a tip, and one of the girls didn't, and she called the girl a monkey. So it created a big argument there in the moment, and they were able to get the girl to stop arguing with the person to kind of leave the situation alone, being that they were in another country away from their parents. They didn't want to get into any sort of trouble, but it just brought that memory to my mind in regards to the racism in France is no different than any other place dominated by white people and white supremacy. The clip you played on Marilyn Mosby, I agree with everyone's assessment. I think is logical. She couldn't do anything. She basically, I think she just laid her position out as plainly as possible, so that I guess she feels that she won't be directly blamed for the way things turned out. But I just feel like in doing so, all she did was just bring herself under further scrutiny due to saying as much as she said and exposing, I guess, her thoughts, feelings, and ideas in relation to what happened. I would say it's somewhat positive, but not really productive. And in my opinion, she just brought more negative scrutiny to herself, and she actually better be careful, and just be careful and look out for herself, because things can get a lot uglier than what they are now, as far as just the way that she's being mistreated at this point.